You know, the real issue is, now this is a big question, what I'm going to ask here. Hold on to your seats. This is going to stun you, shock you. All right, here's the question, and I'm going to answer the question. Is obedience required for salvation? You know, if I say yes, you know what people will say? They'll say, he's a legalist. He's preaching salvation by works. You know, okay. If I say no, obedience is not required for salvation, then I'm just a part of mainstream Christianity. I'm just a part of mainstream churchianity. You can hear that anywhere you want to go. No, nothing's required. You know, just faith alone, just believe. You know, is obedience required for salvation? Let me give you the answer. Yes, obedience is required for salvation. But your obedience is not the agency that saves you. Jesus Christ is the agency that saves us. Grace is the agency that saves you. So is obedience required for salvation? Yes. But obedience is not the agency that saves us. Obedience reveals your attitude. And it lets God know, hey, here's a person, can I work with him or not? Oh, no, can't work for him. Oh, he loves his religion. He loves church. He loves singing in the choir. He loves praising Jesus. Oh, yes. He can't get enough of religion. But I can't work with him because he's got a bad attitude toward the law of God. Now, there's an illusion that a lot of people have. A lot of religious people have this illusion, and they need to be corrected about this. And the illusion is this, that people in the Old Testament, they were saved by works of the law. And the New Testament, Jesus comes along and we got grace, 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 and we're all saved by grace, 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 grace. That's the illusion, that in the Old Testament, these people were saved by works of the law. And in the New, we got grace. Let me inform you, people have always been saved by the grace of God. Salvation has always been about the grace of God. You see, Jesus' sacrifice, listen closely, Jesus' sacrifice goes forward and backwards. It covers the people in the Old Testament, what few people God dealt with back then. He didn't deal with a lot. He didn't start calling a first fruit until, Pentecost, actually, the day of Pentecost. But those people he did work with, they were saved, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they were saved by God's grace. So the grace, the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, the sacrifice, his grace goes forward and it goes backwards. People in the future, how will they be saved? By the grace of God. People back in history, how are they saved? By the grace of God. Salvation has always been by the grace of God. But you see, we're talking about obedience, even with your most heartfelt desire and effort to please God, that you can muster it up. You're still going to make mistakes from time to time. And that's why the agency for your salvation must be by God's grace. In the end, it's all about God's grace. Does God expect you to obey him? Absolutely. Is obedience required for salvation? Absolutely. But the agency of that salvation is not your obedience. It is the grace of Jesus Christ. And that's what's really in your Bible.
Was there something wrong with the Ten Commandments? Were they weak legislation in the first place? Or did they somehow become obsolete with the passage of time? If, as some suppose, the time came for the Ten Commandments to be abolished, there must have been a reason for it. Order your free copy of Which of the Ten Commandments Did Jesus Repeal? Order by writing to Church of God, Rocky Mount, 27 Brookledge Lane, Rocky Mount, Virginia, 24151. That's Church of God, Rocky Mount, 27 Brookledge Lane, Rocky Mount, Virginia, 24151. Also, check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com. If you would like a free DVD recording of this program that you can share with friends and loved ones, write to Church of God, Rocky Mount, 27 Brookledge Lane, Rocky Mount, Virginia, 24151. That's Church of God Rocky Mount, 27 Brookledge Lane, Rocky Mount, Virginia, 24151. And be sure to mention the title of this program.